Now, creative people have a brain that is high performance. You can think of it like a race car engine, but it's been put into, a sedan, a Toyota Corolla body. The problem with this is that there's a lot of extra energy, right? And it's hard to control. And your mind is not going to just shut off and be like, oh, okay, you don't need me to use that high power now. Let me shift down into like normal Sunday driving grandma mode. That energy, that extra energy, especially causes anxiety because it's just like your body has so much, your body and mind are connected. This creative energy in your mind, it's throughout your being. I would theorize that it can cause depression as well. Your body just doesn't know what to do with it, especially if you're not able to do a full-time creative job. And even for people who do have the full-time creative jobs, and you can see it throughout history, examples of artists and writers and musicians who have just like, that's all they do is creative stuff, is art, but they still struggle so much because as high powered as their brain is, there's no possibility of using all of that energy in their creative work. So for people like us, and even though I'm a YouTuber, it's like most of the stuff I do is not creative. But especially so if you're working a day job that isn't creative and you have to fit it in as a hobby, at the end of the day, you have so much extra energy and your mind is just going on all kinds of things. Creative people overthink all the time because that's like a mechanism of creativity, is thinking about something so much that you begin to see things in it that are right there, but no one else sees it. And this becomes a major problem because a lot of creative people fall into a trap of drugs and alcohol and all kinds of stuff like that because they're trying to find ways to get rid of the excess energy, especially alcohol. I mean, drugs do it too, but I feel like alcohol is just readily available to everyone. It kind of just like takes that extra fuel, that extra creative energy, and burns it off. And I would hypothesize this is the reason why there are a lot of creative people, not all, I don't even know if it is a majority, but a significant amount, probably more than the general population of creative people who deal with a lot of problems with addiction because they're just trying to shut off their brain when they're not creating. So here's some tips just from a friend to a friend. Not professional advice, not therapy. I'm not a therapist. Well, first up, see a therapist. Second of all, your mind and body are totally connected. There's no separation. And creative people tend to prioritize the creativity, the imagination, and they will just like neglect their body. Very practical tip is get a balanced diet. Like that's so stupidly simple. I feel embarrassed saying it. Eat a lot of protein. A lot of people don't get enough protein. You got to get a lot of protein. That's going to help stabilize your brain. Make sure you get enough fat too. I feel like the best macro breakdown is just 33% of everything. 33% fat, 33% carbs, 33% protein. Not a nutritionist, but that's what I have found really works for me. If you're vegetarian, if you're vegan, it can be harder to get protein because, so it's so efficient to get protein from chicken or whatever. Pea protein. You got to supplement with pea protein. That's the best way to do it. So diet, I think, is something that is more subtle. You have to do it for a while before you realize, oh yeah, I feel much better than I did. Exercise, though, is something where you do it for a week and I guarantee you'll feel so much vastly better. And it doesn't have to be crazy. Just start by going for a walk. It's all about the excess energy buildup from that creative, overpowered mind. You need to burn it off, like literally burn off the energy. Our bodies were designed to be expending energy all the time. So when we just have a desk job or we sit down, or even if we're a full-time creative person, we're still like sitting down at a desk doing something. We're, oh, I'm standing in front of my easel painting. Oh, I'm an actor. I I walk across the stage. That's my exercise. Like, you need more. The difference in my mental health when I am exercising consistently versus the times where I am not, where I'm like totally sedentary, it's like night and freaking day. It's not a cure-all, but it's a cure most. We isolate ourselves as creative people. Solitude is good. I'm not saying never be alone. Solitude is necessary. Isolation is not necessary. Solitude is where it's like, yes, I get to sit and think by myself. Isolation is where it's like, man, I'm starting to feel bad about this. I'm starting to feel like I'm cut off, not just purposefully spending time by myself. So de-isolate yourself and focus on relationships. Have relationships in your life that you maintain regularly, even if it means taking time away from a little bit of time away from your creativity, because ultimately it feeds your creativity more to have interactions with people that you care about. It doesn't have to be that special. It could just be friendly acquaintances that you hang out with once a week or whatever. You play a trivia game or whatever. That, I feel like, is a good start, and for many people might be enough to just have that human interaction, to have, it's still a relationship, even if you're not like sharing your deepest secrets with each other, just people you can hang out with and have fun and, you know, just have a conversation, be able to pick their mind, be able to have an exchange of ideas. That is so important.